Hello and welcome to Sunday's edition of Wardy's Waffle. You can see I have got fertiliser spreader here. That's not the one to do the fields, and some bags in the back of my disco. Important job on here, getting some fertiliser on the grass around the back of the new house and the office before the rain tonight, so I need to get this done. Anyway, the last few days we've been putting fertiliser on the spring barleys. That's liquid fertiliser. We have been doing some more para harrowing with the Maschio para harrow, and again, thanks Maschio for that. This is on the heavy land. I'll explain what we're doing in the clip. We've also been spraying, putting the fungicide on the wheats, and the Polaris that you know we got a few months ago, we've got a sprayer that goes on the back, but it needed some amendments, adjustments, making modifications, and so I've taken that to Lishmans, or Martin Lishman, whichever you know them as, at Bourne. That's where they got that machine from, and this is the company that provide, they do small sprayers to go on compact tractors, on top of ATVs, on top of little quad bikes as well, and a lot of golf course stuff as well, and also some grain monitoring equipment. So I go through some of the stuff that Lishmans sell. Anyway, I need to crack on before it gets too dark and get this fertiliser on. I'll give you one or two clips of this, and then we'll head into the rest of what we've been doing this last week. Oh yes, one more very important thing, more important than anything I've just mentioned. Henry, my godson, has just had a baby. Well, not him, his wife Emma has, and they've just had a baby this afternoon, and they are calling it Pippa Lillian Ward, which is a lovely name and fantastic. Congratulations Henry, and congratulations Emma, just fantastic news. Anyway, here we go with this week's update. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you at the end. So just back to lawn care, and you'll see I've had a little house, or I bought a little house for the robot mower. I'll talk a bit more about that maybe in next week's video, and had it reprogrammed and everything, and yeah, talk about more about that in next week's video. So just looking at this spreader in detail, it holds probably 50 kilograms, I think, so 2 bags, but it's all plastic down there, the spreading disc, but the axle's not. But it is, the faster you go, that spins, because it's linked to the wheels. The only thing with it, when I had it at the heath at the other house before we moved, I didn't think it was spreading it quite evenly. It would end up with a stripe down one side deep more than the other, because it's only got a single disc and it seems to throw it more one way than the other. But we'll have to have a look at that and see, and it might be a case of putting another outlet in the hopper underneath in there, so it spreads a bit more one side. But anyway, we'll have a look and see what this comes up like. But pleased with the new settings on the robot mower, but as I say, we'll talk about that more next week. So just showing you in the bottom of this hopper, there's a little slide there. You can see that hole there. And when I move this handle, you can just see, if I can do it together, you can just see now it's opened up. And you can alter, there's a little stop here that the handle opens up to. So see, so the more you undo that and open that up to there, the further the handle comes back. And then you can see there, the wider the slide opens. And I've got it set roughly, put a mark on from last year. You can see where I think it needs to be. Anyway, it's somewhere there, but we'll see when the lawn greens up a bit and just see what it's like. Got some young goslings on the pond as well, just around the corner. They're on the island at the minute. I'll try and get some footage of those for next week, but the minute you appear, they scarp and swim onto the island with the mum. And there's some ducks here as well. We haven't seen any young ducklings yet. You can see geese there. And just to finish this off about the fertiliser, this is what we're using. It's an amenity product. I think the tailored, it's 14% nitrogen, 2% phosphate, 6% potash, 2% magnesium, and then it's got a little bit of Fe, which is iron in as well. Ruben's just getting the sprayer out. We're going to put some fertiliser in the tank. We're going out to put some fertiliser on the 2 fields of spring barley that we planted last Sunday. So we're going to get those done. It's not through the ground yet. It has chitted, which I'll show you, but we're going to get this barley on because it's drilled late, and I'll explain in a minute what it's doing. We're putting some liquid nitrogen on the spring barleys that were planted a week ago last Sunday, and we're doing it before the crop comes through, because last year we were late planting the spring crops and the quality wasn't there in the barley. It failed the malting test, so it had to go for feed in the finish, and it's really galling because I sold it really well at about £300 a tonne, but it failed the nitrogen content. It should be below 1.85% nitrogen, and it was actually 2%, so it had to go for feed in the finish. And I know I have posted this before, but it ended up ended up selling it for £140 a tonne, which was horrendous because it only yielded just over 6 tonnes a hectare because it was planted late. And that's one reason why we're not planting spring barley late, apart from this field and one other little field, because the rest of them are too wet. So we're doing these, but we're interested to see how these yield. But we're putting on 100 kilograms a hectare of nitrogen in total, and we're putting it on now before the crop comes through, because if we put it on later and wait for the crop to come through the ground, the nitrogen, it turns dry, the nitrogen then will go straight into the ear, which will then put the nitrogen content of the grain up. So we're doing it now to try and stop that, and to try and hope that we still get some quality in this malting barley, and then it'll be all right rather than go for feed again. But we're only got these 2 fields to do, and then it's done. And then we've got the sugar beet to put some nitrogen on as well when we get that planted and decide what we're going to do there. And we can't see now because of the light. So that's it starting on. But we'll have a look over here next door field, because Tom is across there with the para harrow, and we've decided to use the 8-metre Maschio. Thank you again to Maschio for that. We're using this para harrow, trying it on the sugar beet. We haven't used a para on the sugar beet for over 20 years, but we're just going to see what sort of job it's doing. So the idea is doing it once like this to open it up and let it dry a bit. You just see here though, the lumps are still, when you look at my size of my hand and the lumps, they're like plasticine. But when I let them dry out, and then the rain that's coming this weekend, hopefully will rain in them when it's dried, and then we'll do something else with it next week before we drill it. But it's not going to be very good seed beds at all when you look at the size of the lumps for sugar beet. So this is what it's like before we touch it. You can see down here it's still wet down in those areas there. This was dragged on a frost because there had water stood on it in January, and then this is straight after the solo. You can see here it is just like concrete. You just can't get in it at all. You look at that, it's just can't mark it. So we've got the para harrow running in here now. We're not doing it very deep, but we've got to do it deep enough to get the tracks out. But this is what it's bringing up, lumps like that. Look at my hand, it's like plasticine. Ruben's coming down the lane now back to the yard. He's got the nitrogen finish, which is a good job. Tom's coming back for another breed. Just come to Martin Lishmans at Bourne, a company who make small sprayers for tractors or quad bikes or Polarises such as this. So we're having our sprayer converted to electric so that we haven't got all these solenoids in the cab. I'll just show you, this is what we used to have on the old Polaris, and That's for the left boom, that's for the centre, and then that one's for the right. So we're having that all electric, so obviously we don't want to have that control all in the cabin and spoil it. So having it all streamlined and altered, and this taken off. We're having the engine and all this taken off, and the pump here. So we're going to have an electric put on here, and it will be a lot lighter and a lot neater. And more streamlined, and then we're going to probably get the boom shot blasted and paint everything as well, get this done, but we won't be able to do that till the winter time. So we'll see how we get on, and I'll leave it here with him. I'll take the Polaris away. We're going to take the sprayer off. I'll take the Polaris away, and then I'll come back to fetch this. We've taken the boom off, so we're just now going to lift it up with the forks. That's it. Just back a touch. That's it. Now up, and then we're going to lift it off. That's it. That's it. Up a bit more, just to get these. Pull your forks back.
No, you need to be on this.
Just got it.
Yeah, that's it.
There. Typical, just when we're nearly finished, the gas tank's now empty. So we managed to get it off and onto a box here. So that can be moved now, easily. So that's got the boom back on here now, so I'm taking that back home, back to the farm, and leaving them with the sprayer. And then we can get it all done what we want to do, and then I'll come back and fetch it up and plumb it up, make sure it works. Go on, Nala, in you get. Nala's got out and had a bit of a play. Go on, Nala, in you get. Go on, jump, get up, hop, hop, go on, get up. She wants me to lift her. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh. There we go. Right, you stay there. Looking at this sprayer here, what's this one? You say this is for a golf course?
Yeah, so this is for top golf course.
Yeah.
And then we've got a pro boom on it at the moment, which is what I don't know what the meterage of it is on. 6 metre.
Right.
With your triple nozzles.
Yeah.
So you've got all your different sizes that you'd like.
Yeah.
Electric valve block.
Ah, and that's what we're having on the Polaris.
Yes, it
is.
is. Yeah.
Just like that.
So
right.
you've got your solenoids there.
Yeah.
And then you've got your electric balancing there.
Yeah.
Your main shut-off valve over there.
Yeah.
So obviously your pressure reading.
Pressure reading there.
You yourselves are going to have a pressure reading in your cab.
Yeah.
This is what you have in your cab.
Yeah.
You've got your pressure regulator or pressure valve there that tells you pressure. All your spray controls there.
Yeah.
This one's running a PTO pump.
Yes.
Which is what you've got on yours at the moment.
But we're doing away with.
We're going to do away with it, save you the weight, and put an electric pump on it. So it's all electric for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
We do all sorts of different sprays. We've got various different styles of booms that we do.
Sounds good. That will go on the small little compact tractor.
Yes, yeah, and then we've got everything. I don't think we've got one, but we've got a 500 litre tank there.
Yeah.
And I think we've got a 600 litre. We've got a 600 litre tank through there.
We'll have a look in there in a second. Then all these are to go on the back of quad bikes.
Quad bikes, yeah. We've got these are what we call our 009s, I believe.
Yeah.
These ones, I'm building a 009 over there.
Yeah.
On the test bench that you saw. We have various different booms.
What are these?
Oh, these are actually what we call a micro spray. Camp are the ones who do quite a lot of business with these. So
Yeah.
these are sort of they're all self-propelled. You've got your control boxes here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got 150, this has got a 120 litre tank on it, but we do them at 150 litres now.
Right.
This would be the same sort of spray that yours...
I was just going to say, that will be what ours started off like when it was trailed.
Yours sort of started its life as.
Yeah.
Now this is obviously what we do now. Yeah, I think this is a 250 litre tank that
Yeah.
on this one.
Yeah.
We do them as varying sizes.
Right.
Whatever you might need.
Yeah, yeah. And then just looking here at your tanks, if you could, just because this is interesting what you've got, they're brilliant.
Yeah, these are the different booms that go on these 009s.
These little booms here.
Yeah, 2.5 metre, I think.
Yeah.
And then 3 metre boom.
Yeah.
Just have one of those go. That's got a staple with it as well.
Yeah. There's stores for all your different tanks.
Yeah. So this one here is the aforementioned 600 litre tank.
Oh yes.
That came out of a frame and is ready for when somebody wants it.
Yeah.
Go in a frame and get it sent off to them.
Yeah.
And then obviously go on the back of
Yeah. Fantastic. And then also you do grain monitoring equipment, don't you?
Yes, we do a lot with moisture meters. We have a barn owl wireless system, which is a wireless grain fan control system.
Yeah.
Which is usually what I myself deal with
great.
over the road.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. Oh, thank you. Thanks very much for that. Fantastic. I'm just with Ruben and the sprayer. We're just spraying off the stewardship areas because they need planting again. We've just got some new nozzles on, so I'll just show you these nozzles on the sprayer. That's meant to be good for drift. So these are what they call Lechler IDTAs, and you can just see there's two nozzles in there, one at slightly different angle to the other, and they're meant to be very good for drift, but you have to put them on the right way on. So see what it's like. There's two sort of streams coming out. The front one, the front stream, isn't such a stunt as angle as the back stream, but a lot of weeds in here, so we've got to replant these stewardship areas. These are what we call winter bird food plots, so we've got a special mix to put in here, but it won't be planted until probably July. So it's only 20 odd metres wide, this one. Just see the rubbish down on the edge here. Definitely not as much drift. There you are, look at that, look at those leaves. Look at that leaf, how it soaked it in chemical. That's all chemical there, that is brilliant. Some more here. All those droplets there, that's all chemical, that's Roundup. We're putting on 5 litres a hectare Roundup here, so quite a big rate because of this, all these weeds here, it needs to kill. And it'll be 2-3 weeks before this starts, well it'll be 10 days when it starts to show, but it'll be properly brown in 2 to 3 weeks, so I'll come back and have a look. You can see there how only part of the boom's on, but because we're not on individual nozzles as such, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nozzles outside the area, but it doesn't matter because there's no crop in this area. And if we switch that section off so those nozzles there aren't overlapping, there'll be an area between the wheels and the edge of the crop that doesn't get sprayed, so we need to overlap there. Ruben's only going really slow. We're putting 200 litres a hectare of water on with it, but this is one of the fields that we haven't planted, and we've got 23 out of the 49 fields altogether we have that we won't have a crop on this year. But when you look at how wet it's been here and up there as well, it is drying out now, starting to dry out, but the problem here is you can see how unlevel it is, but it's so late now. I don't want to be combining, or we don't want to be combining spring crops in the middle of September drilled now, which is where there would be. So we'd much rather get this cultivated, worked, and then do it in June, July when it's properly dried out, and then drill it with winter wheat in mid-September and get some real good strong winter wheat crops. So that's what we're going to do. Ruben's putting a fungicide on the wheat. This is the second fungicide, what's known as T1, so that's timing 1. So we have T0, T1, T2 and T3. So the crop's really starting to move now because it's got all the nitrogen. So Ruben's putting a fungicide in, or 2 or 3 fungicides, and a growth regulator as well to keep the crop down and make sure the crop doesn't go flat. These are the new nozzles we're using. In the intro earlier on, you probably spotted this. Well, I'll just explain what it is. It's what you'd call a heavy-duty spring tine, and it's a weaving machine. They call it the Energizer. Thanks very much, Weaving, for bringing this over, letting us have a play with it. You can see it's got really good aggressive points. Obviously, the wings fold down. It's 6 meters wide, but it is very heavy. Our fast track struggled to lift it, so we're either going to put it on the Puma or the RX, but we'll go steady with it if it's on the RX because that'll easily manage it. But yeah, very good spring tines, and we've got to get it on this land that's where we're going to have the baked beans. I think the reason the fast track couldn't lift it is because that roller is really heavy and it's quite a long way back from the linkage, so there's a lot of leverage. But and also there's quite a lot of soil on it as well from another farm. So I I hope there's no blackgrass in there, by the way. Yeah, it's quite a lot of soil on it. You can see at the back as well, so that won't be helping the lifting of it. But we'll give it a go this week when the rain's been, this next week, and see how it goes on some of this land that's going to be really tough to work. We're not quite sure how we're going to work it yet. Anyway, we'll have a go. But thanks, Weaving, for that. We'll see how we get on this next week with it. And then also this coming week, we have got a couple of Vardastat machines coming. That's the Cultus, I think they call it, and also NZ Extreme, which is a similar version to this, but bigger, but similar times and things, I think. So we're going to be trying that as well, but I think that's 12 metres wide, that one. It's doing a demonstration in Norfolk. There's a demo day, I think Tuesday, that Vardastat are putting on. This is the details of that, so if you're out that way, I'm sure Vardastat will be pleased to see you. We won't be going, I've got too much on this week, but these are the details of that open day. Anyway, we'll should hopefully get those on the farm after that. Just got in from fertilising the lawn and got a parcel, and it says, "To Andrew, thank you so much for your contribution to the film. We really appreciate it. Best wishes, this Tonight team." That's this last Thursday I was on an ITV programme. They were talking about food and the price of food and how people's budgets are impacted by the cost of food. And I was on talking about it from a farmer's perspective about how our costs have risen. If you go on catch up, it will be on. So it's called Tonight, I think it is on. It was on ITV 8:30 this last Thursday night on ITV1. I got it upside down. So there we go. Oh my word! Thank you so much, and some little chockies or biscuits to go with it. Fantastic, thank you.